So much of last week was really colored by all these planets moving through Capricorn, meeting up with each other, and collectively opposing Jupiter, who's retrograde in Cancer. This is what that looks like. All these red lines indicate tense or difficult aspects. So they're all opposing Jupiter. They're also making squares with Chiron and Aries. Last week, Venus, the Sun, and Mars all perfected their opposition. This week is Mercury's turn. Mercury is kind of trailing behind Venus, the Sun, and Mars at 17 degrees of Capricorn. By Wednesday, I want to say, Wednesday, January 15th, Mercury is going to perfect that opposition to Jupiter. I love talking about Mercury and Jupiter as a pair. I love comparing and contrasting them. I think that they are so interesting when they are in conversation with each other. Mercury is the planet of facts. Jupiter is the planet of truth. And hearing that, you might be thinking, those are the same thing. Not always, and you know that. If you're watching this, I'm certain at some point in your life, you've been on the receiving end of rhetoric that's like, yeah, technically you're correct, but the spirit of your message and how you're choosing to frame these facts is vile and intentionally misleading. We are living through a moment where the technical details of a situation are at odds with what we know to be the truth about that situation. When Mercury and Jupiter get into a difficult aspect with each other, like an opposition, there is a real tendency for people to be using facts in their arguments, but missing the real point entirely. The facts are, I can't say that they're incorrect, but they don't mean what you are suggesting they mean. However, when Mercury is under duress, there is a much higher chance that those facts are not actually factual or they are being misused in the way I've described. Right now, Mercury is about 5-ish degrees away from the sun. That's really close to the sun. It means that we can't see Mercury in the sky right now. This is a condition that's called combustion, and it is seen as like a debilitating condition. Think of it as like Mercury is going to meet up with the sun soon, later this month. But as it's approaching the sun, its identity and its themes are getting like scorched. They're getting burned away. So Mercury being combust and being in a difficult aspect with Jupiter, the planet of truth and like the spirit and the meaning of a message, is not great. It would definitely suggest or indicate a heightened likelihood that the math isn't mathing. I think the fact that Jupiter is also retrograde in this moment is another reinforcement of that whole like, you're missing the point. You're missing the larger meaning. Because Mercury is very close to the sun, it's also very close to Mars, which likes to use Mercury themes as a cudgel or as a weapon when they get this close. So there's just like a lot of violent reasoning being used. So as Mercury draws closer to perfecting its opposition to Jupiter this week, we may find ourselves in conversations, probably more like debates. And this is probably a good moment to keep in mind that you don't need anyone else to validate what you know to be true. And just because someone is correct doesn't mean they're right. I hope this was helpful and interesting. Thank you for watching. Good job today. Good luck out there.